Hello and welcome to Infinity Learn. Namaste everyone. So here I am, Mythili Abburi, Zoology faculty from Infinity Learn by Sri Chaitanya, offering you some tips for the zoology preparation as far as the NEET is concerned, right? So yeah, you've gone through a lot the past couple of years, and it has been very difficult situation, but life goes on. In amidst of all these, it's very important for us to still get on with the learning. Learning is something that should never stop as far as life is concerned. Learn is something that is infinite. So with that, let me start with the code. Never say no, never say I cannot, for you are infinite, right? For you are infinite. Let me take a pen there. Seems to be yes. You are infinite. All the power is within you. You can do anything. This is quoted by Swami Vivekananda as I re-quote. So at Infinity Learn, this is what we believe. Learning is infinite, right? And it should be fun as well. So here we are presenting you tips and tricks as far as the zoology is concerned and its preparation is concerned. For the NEET 2021, we hardly have 20 on odd more days to go, and let's see what we can do and how I can help you with the zoology preparation, right? Here we go. So let me discuss just a slide as far as our new pattern is concerned. So the new pattern again consists of a little more questions compared to what you have done previously. It was 180 questions previously. Now you're going to go with that of the 200, right? And the marks do not change. Marks will remain 720. The marks are going to remain 720. So how is it done? So there's 35 questions in part A and 15 questions from each subject as far as the part B is concerned. So what about this division? Why this division? Basically in the part B you get a choice, right? But be very careful to understand the fact that the first 10 questions attempted are the ones that are going to be considered. Say for example, you have 1, 2, 3, 4 questions. First question is something that you're very sure of, mark it. Second, you're not so sure of, skip. Go to the third question. So make sure you attempt the first 10 very confident questions that you are with as far as the part B is concerned, right? So this is how it is going to be. So if at all I have to discuss what's this with the new pattern, there is definitely an advantage. You get the choice, so that is something that I need not explain. But there is a wee bit of disadvantage as well, because it's going to take some more time of yours, right? It is going to take more time, obviously more number of questions that are being added. So how do you handle this? How do you curtail this? Simple, something that you have been following and something that we keep preaching with NEET, not just zoology, whether it is physics, chemistry as well as botany is concerned. Whenever you are sure of a particular question, that's when you attempt it. You're not so sure, please skip it and come back to it at the end. So that is how you save time. Time is the essence, children. So it's very important that you are marking the questions that you are very sure of. Beware, there is still negative marking, right? So hope you understand the new pattern. Here it's just that division and a little more number of questions that are added. There's part A, there's part B. You get a choice as far as the part B is concerned, right? So hope that point is clear. Not to get boggled away with this particular slide, because this is the essence of this entire presentation. So this is something I'm going to break up into n number of many more slides, and am I going to explain how it goes. This is basically the weightage that we have done as far as from 2013 all the way till 2020. A very great analysis of the NEET examination, its weightage. How many questions have come from which of the chapters, which are the concepts that you should concentrate upon for the next few days, right? So this is something that I'm going to break up in the next few slides. I'm going to unwind, unfold for you in an easier manner, not to worry at all, right? So class 11. So if at all I have to sum up as far as zoology is concerned in class 11. So what are these topics? It's all about animal kingdom, animal tissues, and the physiology. So if at all I'm talking just the zoology part, what do we have? Animal kingdom, we have the animal tissues as well as the human physiology. So animal kingdom, what is that we can expect from this particular chapter? So there are 3 to 4 questions that are coming in every year as far as this is concerned. But mostly lucky for you, the examples are being within NCERT most of the time, right? Over 95% of the time, they give examples from the NCERT. So what can you do in the next few days? The next few days, I advise you to study the examples, right? Examples are something that you should keep an eye for as far as the animal kingdom is concerned. There you go, you can ace it, because by now, you know all the characteristic of all these different phyla that you would have studied in the non-chordates, all the classes as far as the chordates are concerned. It's all about putting it all together. So as long as you know your examples well, you can any which ways relate them to the characteristics and get those questions right, right? So then animal tissues. Look out for epithelial tissue. With all my experience, I tell you most of the questions are from that part. Other than that, what do we do from the tissues? Study all the examples again there in animal kingdom if it's scientific names. Here we are worried about the locations, right? Each of the locations. Say for example, PCT of nephron is something which has a cuboidal epithelium with the brush border. That's where reabsorption is happening. Remember, DCT on the other hand has the same cuboidal epithelium without the brush border. So the locations are something that are very, very, very important. So this is the part that you're going to concentrate upon as far as the tissues is concerned. And then we go to physiology. All these physiology chapters starting from digestion till the chemical, that is the endocrinology chapter. So there are 2 questions at least from each of these chapters. So if at all we are going to sum up the entire thing, not just class 11, let's say class 11 and 12 put together as far as NEET is concerned, the areas that you should be looking for is mostly the human physiology as well as the environmental biology. The last 4 chapters you have in the second year, of course with the human reproduction also. These are the main areas of concentration, right? So these are the parts of the syllabus that you need to concentrate upon, right? So in physiology again, yes, I did generally say 2 questions in each of the chapters, but again these are 2 more important chapters, that is chemical coordination and integration, the last one, as well as the body fluid and circulation, because sometimes the questions are little more over 2. If at all it is 2, 2, 2 in all others, it may be 2 to 3 in both these chapters, which is why these are 2 chapters again that you are going to concentrate more upon, right? Now coming to human physiology, I am breaking it further down. I did discuss animal kingdom so far, guys. Scientific names are important, and then the tissues, the locations are important. When it comes to human physiology, let me break it up into 3 parts again, each of the chapters, every chapter, right? It is anatomy, physiology, as well as the disorders. So let me tell you the first little sweet, easy trick for you to crack that NEET. So if you sum up all the disorders of all the physiology chapters put together, right, it wouldn't be more than 2 pages, like a paragraph if each, right? There are disorders at the end of each of the physiology chapters. Sometimes in chapters like chemical control, they may be within the chapter. They may not be bifurcated separately as one particular point, but you do have disorders, right, in each of the physiology chapters. Put together all these disorders, right, it would not be more than 2 pages. You study these 2 pages, you are guaranteed those 4 marks. At least a question arise from disorders. So that is what I mean when I say proportionately more in the disorders, right. In the physiology again, right, there is anatomy, there's physiology, there's disorders. There are a lot of questions that are coming in physiology, more than that of the anatomy part. Again, more in the disorders, right. So less to study but more to gain. So that is a very really important trick that you need to remember. So 2 pages of study and you're guaranteed 1 or 2 questions definitely from in there. That's a great deal, guys. I wouldn't miss it, right. I would definitely take it up. So study those disorders perfectly, right. Then we start with digestion. As I told, each of the physiology chapters carry how many? 2 questions. Of the 2 questions, which are the ones that are constants when it comes to NEET? There are questions from the dental formula, the teeth, right? Concentrate that particular region of the digestive system. Every year there are questions as far as the teeth are concerned. Remember the permanent teeth formula, the milk teeth formula, how many are being replaced? So that's a little tricky question that can be asked in there, right, because there are only the milk teeth of 20 that are going to be replaced. How many appear only once? 12 of them appear only once, right. So all these different questions that can come as far as the human teeth are concerned. Then there are digestion of food questions, the chemical equations, right. As a sample I put in there for you, the enzyme enterokinase helps in the conversion of. So this is an intestinal enzyme that's present in the succus entericus, and this is something that's very, very important for activating the trypsinogen to trypsin, which in turn activates the other proteases. So directly, indirectly, many which ways this question can be asked, and there are a lot of questions so far that have been like what are the enzymes that are present in the pancreatic juice, what are the enzymes that are in the intestinal juice. So these are all the gastric enzymes. The question can be asked, which are the ones that where the digestion starts in the very mouth itself. Salivary amylase, remember, I know that you are saying those answers, right. So there are a lot of questions as far as these chemical reactions are concerned. So these are the 2 areas that you are going to look for as far as the digestion chapter is concerned, right. Remember the teeth as well as the chemical reactions, the hydrolytic reactions. So this is one indirect question I just chose for a little tip. There are certain questions which are linked. RBC production is something that we are going to talk about in the body fluid circulation. And here we are talking about the gastric cells. So how are they related? If you look at some of the gastric cells, that is here I put in the parietal cells or the oxyntic cells, these are responsible not just for the production of HCl but also Cassell's intrinsic factor. And what does that do? Absorption of vitamin B12. This is something that is helping with the absorption of vitamin B12. And what does this do? This is helping with the maturation of RBCs. So this is something that is helping with the maturation of RBCs, and thus it is something that is helping with indirectly with the erythropoiesis, which means the production of RBCs. Quite a nice question which is interlinking to different concepts. Okay, such questions are some things that you can easily crack given a little bit of time. Just give it a little thought, read the question thoroughly. As my friend Satadal said yesterday, it's very, very important that you need to read the questions, right? Reading the questions is something that's very, very, very important. Do not think it as some wastage of time. That is something that you need to skim through. You need to sort out which are the questions you are thoroughly and very sure of. Those are the questions you are going to attempt first. That's where you save a lot of time for those unknown questions also, which might just flash because of the confidence that you have built in by answering all those other questions, right? So all are interlinked. You save time, you build confidence, you're more relaxed, you're not stressed anymore, you do not have anxiety there, and then you go about answering the other questions as a cakewalk, right? It's all about keeping your cool. So do not be under stress. And then breathing, exchange of gases, there are 2 questions that are coming. And there you can have this evidence of these 2 topics that I am going to talk about, that how very important these 2 topics within the subtopics within that of the breathing chapter. One is that of respiratory volumes and capacities. See here in NEET 2018, I have put one sample out there, match the following of all these different volumes, right? Respiratory volumes and capacities is a very important one again. So mostly you're sure of another 4 mark if you're studying that particular one paragraph that is given in the NCERT, right? Volumes and capacities, something that you cannot miss at all. At the same time, mechanism of breathing is also something that's catching up. You can see it appearing in 2016, 2019 as well as 2020. So if at all you're seeing breathing, you do not have much of a time, but you still have to cover a couple of concepts. These are the 2 to go, guys. Do not miss respiratory volumes and capacities as well as mechanism of breathing, right? And not to miss oxygen dissociation curve as well. And look at just one question appearing so many times. Transport of carbon dioxide as bicarbonate ion appeared in some form or the other, 2006, 2014 as well as 16, right? So this is quite a simple, easy, straight question, right? All of you very well know. And one thing you will have to put in a little more of work into studying is the partial pressures, right? That table from the NCERT straight away, I've pasted it here for you. So this is something that you need to remember no matter what. So the partial pressures is something that you will have to remember to answer certain questions that are appearing in the NEET of late, right? So partial pressures also, I do not always ask you to go by the route memory, keep on memorizing things and all. Only very few certain things need that. Within that also, it's very important that you understand the concept first. So as long as you're understanding that this is following a concentration gradient, which is always high to low, okay, automatically the numbers also start making sense to you and you will know how to answer that question, right? Again, I wouldn't say biology is all about route memory. No, it's not like that. It is something that needs to be learnt with a lot of passion. You need to understand the concept, and that's when things fall in place, right? So body fluids and circulation, 2 or 3 questions. Again, as I told you, every physiology chapter 2 questions, but body fluids and chemical control, there may be a little more, right? So what are the topics that we're going to look for here? This cardiac cycle, this calculation of stroke volume, cardiac output, as well as ECG, the graphical representation, right? Here is a very simple question that is asked, which is something which is incorrectly interpreted. As long as you know that P wave is something that is representing the atrial systole, QR is complex for the ventricular systole, and the T for that of joint diastole, right? So these 3 main very basic concept is also something that is allowing you to answer a particular question, right? So in body fluids and circulation, these are some things that you can study. Yeah, be aware of conduction pathway also, how it starts from SAN to AVN to the AV bundles and through the Purkinje fibers, and you can follow it up with the way you study the cardiac cycle, how you interpret again as far as ECG is concerned. Everything is interlinked, right? So locomotion and movement. So there are 1 to 2 questions concentrate on joints, please, 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 please. That's a pretty please. So joints is something that I cannot emphasize how important it is. Why? Again, this is one paragraph, guys, just one paragraph you will see of different kinds of the joints, right? There are fibrous, there are cartilaginous, within synovial, again we have a number of others, but studying these types, again compared to the fibrous and cartilaginous also, if you're going to start, concentrate more on the synovial joints, again you got a question there, you got a guaranteed 4 marks there again. So joints is something that's very, very important. Also please understand the muscle contraction. I know this is a topic which is having a lot of elements to it, but believe me, if you understand the mechanism of muscle contraction well, you can answer questions from this as well, right? So these are the 2 topics that you are looking for. Do not miss joints again, right? So neural control coordination, again 1 to 2 questions, concentrate on the brain, eye, ear. Of late, if you observe, as far as eye is concerned, there are questions that are appearing little beyond NCERT. Right. So this is one area that you can study a little more from that of the beyond NCERT. Also very recently in 2019 also we have a question that has appeared which is a little beyond NCERT there. Also it's important for you to understand the transmission of impulse, right? Generation of action potential and its transmission is something that's very, very important as far as neural control is concerned. Then chemical coordination, there are 2 to 3 questions that are coming in. I said body fluids, and this is one chapter that you need to watch out for as far as the physiology is concerned. And of course the disorders are quite important, right? So in excretion you do study when in the urine that there are ketone bodies in the urine that are present, or if there is glucose that is making its presence in the urine through the diagnostics, which is the disease that you're going to predict disorder. Usually it's diabetes mellitus, right? So again, if it is just a lot of polyuria, it can be diabetes insipidus also. So again here we have an interlink between the excretion chapter as well as the chemical coordination. So believe me, biology is all about learning those concepts and interlinking those also very, very nicely. Integrated physiology is the in thing, guys, nowadays, right? So class 12, as I told you, concentrate on these 2. As far as class 11 is concerned, human physiology. Again, class 12 is concerned, please concentrate on these 2, human reproduction and environmental biology, right? So human reproduction, there are 3 questions. As I cannot insist how very important this particular chapter is. There might be 4 questions also appearing in a certain year. So this whole of a chapter, I cannot just pinpoint, this is a very important topic, that's an important topic. This entire chapter within is very, 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 very important, and you don't see a lot of consistency also that the questions are appearing only from gametogenesis, so let's study only that. The questions are appearing only from the menstrual cycle, so let's go ahead with that. There's questions that's coming from pregnancy. So this every nook and corner of this particular chapter there are questions that are appearing. So this entire chapter is quite important and quite an interesting chapter, right? You can crack it. This is something that you are interested even before you study about it. Why not? It's our own human body. It's important that you understand these concepts, right? So this is one interesting question that caught my eye as far as 2020 paper is concerned, right? So which of the following hormone levels will cause release of ovulation from the Graafian follicle? Immediately what do you answer, or what comes to your mind? LH surge, right? High concentration of LH is going to cause the ovulation. But you read the options there, There's low concentration of LH that's given. So what would be the answer? High concentration of estrogen. That's a nice little tricky question that's given. Not just LH, estrogen levels are also quite high. Remember, just before the rupture, the graphene follicle is something that can give high concentration, that synthesizes high concentrations of the estrogen. So that is the answer. So very nice question. As I told, I cannot pinpoint just one topic from this. You need to study this entire chapter. So reproductive health, straight away I point out to two things. One is contraceptive methods, one are methods that help you with the infertility. The infertility couples are helped with ARTS, assisted reproductive technologies, and those who do not want to have children, want to prevent conception, they contradict it, it's a contraception, right? So contraception methods as well as the arts. These are the two things that you need to understand very well from the reproductive health. As you can see, both the questions that I have put is also about a match, right? And this. So whenever the match is something, that brings me to another thing. There are lots and lots of match the following questions that are given just the last year, and whenever you see these questions, say everything is appearing out of place also, you just know that one thing from the four, you can relate it, bang, you get the answer. There are a lot of questions. If you look into 2020 paper, if you know just one option very well also, you can go ahead and answer that by putting the others in place, because they would not have given any other one with that option, right? So evolution, 3 questions. Then evidences are quite important. Among evidences also, homologous, analogous organs are something that are very many times repeated. Adaptive radiation is one of the favorite of NEET paper setters, so that is also important, right? So analogous structures are a result of. So analogy is where we are talking about the similar structures without the common origin. So that brings us to the convergent evolution, right? So evolution, pay attention to human evolution also, a little bit of brief account, the evidences. So this is one chapter, vast one, but you know, try to give more importance to the evidences, right? Then human health and diseases. This is one match the following example that I was trying to give. All of you know malaria. So this is something that you're very sure of. It is something that's caused by Plasmodium. So D2. If you look at these options, only one has D2. So directly you can go ahead and block that. So that's one advantage you have with match, and many matches are given just the last year. So this is one of my prediction. Okay, hope it comes true or not true also. So as long as you can answer it, that is what we want. So this is something, if it can be helpful, good enough. If it's not coming also, you gain more knowledge, right? Learning should be infinite, right? So COVID is something that is bothering us obviously past few years. There might be a question, little of chances that this question might appear. So some of the things that I put together in this short lecture. SARS-CoV-2 is something that is causing COVID. It's an RNA virus, but beware, it doesn't undergo the reverse transcription just like the HIV, right? So it doesn't undergo the reverse transcription. Where was the first case reported? Wuhan, China, and mode of transmission, droplet infection. That's how it spreads, guys. Covaxin and Covishield, you would have heard this particular name n number of times. Media's flooded with the info as far as these two are concerned. As far as our NEET zoology is concerned, you need to understand that it is an inactivated vaccine and this is attenuated, which means weakened. So this is something that is a weakened virus. So these are the vaccines that are available, and there might be questions about any of these things, just a prediction, right? Fingers crossed. So next we have strategies. The animal breeding is where you will have to concentrate in this, right? You need to understand what is inbreeding, what's outbreeding, within outbreeding, what's outcross, which helps overcome inbreeding, depression, you know the answer. And then crossbreed, Hisserdale is a very important Example, Bicanary use in merino rams. Bean is something I keep telling, Mr. Bean is a code that you can use and remember this. Then mule, interspecific hybridization. Moyet, these Moyet technique is also very, very important, right? So this is what you need to concentrate on as far as the animal breeding, the strategies is concerned. Organisms and populations, please do study the population interaction, very, very interesting. So this is something that's very, very interesting. You can remember that easily. That's the question also that is chosen. If you look at female wasp and fig species, what is that? That's a mutualism. So not an example of commensalism, obviously is that. And if at all you look this question, you might be wondering, can this, NEET examination be so easy? There are questions like that. So do not overthink on those questions. Yes, there are very, very, very simple and straight questions that make you overthink just because you are under stress of writing the NEET examination. Can this be so simple? Do I know this answer? And it's so simple. There are certain questions just like this one. Which of the following is not an attribute of population? The sex ratio, natality, mortality, yes. Species interaction is not, right? So yes, so that is one thing that I want to put across. There are simple questions, very straight questions. You are getting them right. Just go ahead doing it. Do not doubt it, do not overthink, and do not mess it up, right? And then ecosystem. From ecosystem, somehow stratification seems to be favorite of NEET paper setters. It's just a vertical distribution. Just one line definition, and it has appeared 2010, 12, 15. Ecological pyramids, 2 points that you need to very nicely remember, and you know already. The pyramid of energy is always upright. 10% rule, guys. And then there is pyramid of biomass, which might be inverted, which is inverted as far as the aquatic systems are concerned, right? So that is productivity is also something that you have to look out for. Biodiversity, in situ, ex situ conservation, quite simple. All you need to understand, within the animals or the plants are being conserved in their natural habitat. Outside is ex situ conservation, right? So this is one thing that's very, very important. There's patterns of biodiversity as well. Causes of extinction, the evil quartet, loss of biodiversity. This is also something that's very, very important, right? And there are some questions which throw you off guard completely, something like Hungal question that was asked in 2016. So it's quite impossible to remember all these important animals and the national parks and all. You just write it out of your general knowledge, but just because of 1 or 2 of such questions, you need not mess up the entire paper. It is totally okay. As long as all your other attempted questions you're getting right, bingo, you're becoming a doctor. So do not worry about such questions. And if you know, great, do answer such questions, right? Finally, environmental issues in air pollutions, concentrate on catalytic converters, scrubbers, water pollution, BOD, eutrophication, biomagnification, polyblend. Also there are questions. Most very important again in this is greenhouse gases and ozone depletion. Again, COP is something that can throw you off guard. Conference of parties, the question has appeared before. If at all, again, latest question is COP, latest one has, when did it happen? It was supposed to last year 2020 in Glasgow, UK, but due to COVID, it got postponed. It is about to happen this year, October, November, the conference of parties, which is, signing up these protocols in order to prevent different environmental or sort out the different environmental issues, right? So that is about our last chapter. Thank you so much for a very patient listening, and hope this helps. Hope you crack NEET and hope you serve humanity. And I keep saying learning is infinite, keep doing it, and the knowledge is also that you are acquiring is infinite. Happy learning, all of you.